Senator Shelley Calvo introduced a bill in the Guam legislature. Bill, I think it's 226-38. And essentially what it will do is uh, for businesses fronting certain areas like Route 14, Route 1, basically places where tourists are able to see. They will get a tax break if they spruce up their area, like repaint the building, trim the trees. It's a beautification thing, right? And how it would work is that you would pay the taxes, but you would show the government that you did this thing abiding by this statute, and you would get a refund from the government of Guam. And so Senator Shelley Calvo, David Lebowski, one of our regular candid viewers and readers and regular contributors to letters to the editor, he wrote a very pointed letter to the editor, and I want to read it for you. And there was this, it was just such a great read. I even took this line out and I made it, I emphasized this line. He says, when the wealthy want something, the government finds the money. When the public needs something, the government claims it is broke or meets its responsibilities with apathy. Wait, hold on one second. Okay, let me just send a message. Okay, let me read this for you. Sorry, I just had to send a message. Bill 228, sorry, not 226. Bill 228 which gives tax breaks to tourist businesses to improve the external view of the businesses, is a clear example of a special interest proposal that offers no meaningful or measurable return for the people of Guam. It is presented as a beautification effort, yet its true effect is to again divert public revenue into private hands at a time when our government is failing to meet its most basic responsibilities. This bill asks taxpayers to subsidize private property improvements while families struggle with rising costs, schools deteriorate, and our healthcare system remains under severe strain. It is difficult to justify spending public money on repainting buildings and installing landscaping when so many essential public services are underfunded. The priorities reflected in this measure do not match the realities faced by the people of Guam. Tourists do not choose destinations because a building has been painted. They choose destinations where they feel safe, respected, and treated fairly. At present, listen to this. At present, many visitors feel targeted by overcharging and inconsistent pricing from the very businesses that stand to benefit from this bill. Let me just take a break from reading Mr. Lebowski's letter. He is absolutely right. If you go and translate the message boards of where Koreans who visited Guam, when they go back to Korea and they talk about their experience in Guam and in the CNMI, one of the things that they talk about is being overcharged for everything. How expensive the ugliest things are, like taxi rides, like hotel rooms, and how when they compare their experience to other people's experiences or to their own experiences in other Southeast Asian destinations, they're wondering why they're paying 2, 3, 5, 10 times more for a product that is much better in Vietnam, Thailand, Korea, Japan, Taiwan. This is a real thing. And Mr. Lebowski, he brings this out loud and clear. And, David Lebowski and Mabel Dojluhan, Mabel writes the column Chaggy Mabel on Candid. They don't normally agree on things, but they are singing the exact same tune that Mr. Lebowski talks about in this, and Mabel talks about when she talks about tourism and the problems with the whole destination product and the marketing efforts over with the government of the CNMI, the same sort of thing that David Lebowski is talking about here with tourism in Guam. Let me continue with what he wrote. No one is going to board an airplane because a storefront looks cleaner, while those same businesses make them feel like they have a target on their backs. Until Guam addresses the predatory practices, not to mention crime, that our reputation, cosmetic improvements will not change the visitor experience or increase arrivals. This bill follows the same pattern as the airline incentive program, another initiative that transferred public money to private companies with no measurable return. Once again, the government is preparing to funnel hard-earned tax dollars into the hands of some of Guam's most affluent business owners, while the rest of the island suffers with collapsing schools, outdated facilities, and a healthcare system in crisis. When the wealthy want something, the government finds the money. When the public needs something, the government claims it is broke or meets its responsibilities with apathy. This pattern is unmistakable and deeply troubling. Although the bill claims to support small businesses, its structure reveals that claim as political cover. Only businesses with enough cash to begin projects upfront can participate because the tax credit is issued only after completion. Those who are already struggling will be excluded entirely. This is not a small business program. It is a subsidy for the well-connected and the well-capitalized, and it is being marketed to the public as something it is not. Can you give me 1 second? I just need to respond to someone who's called a couple of times. Pardon me. Okay. The bill also allows the government to avoid its own responsibilities, continuing with Mr. Lebowski's write-up. Clean public restrooms, reliable transportation, fair taxi regulations, safe sidewalks, and well-maintained public spaces are the foundation of a functioning tourism industry. These are government duties, not private obligations. Instead of addressing the problems that actually drive tourists away, the government is shifting the burden to private businesses and calling it a solution. This is not policy, it is evasion. There is no accountability built into this program. There are no performance metrics, no requirements for measurable tourism gains, no transparency on who receives the incentives, and no safeguards to prevent abuse. Guam has a long history of tax incentive programs that benefit insiders while producing little or no public return. This bill fits that pattern perfectly. It is another open door for politically connected businesses to claim public money under the guise of economic development. In essence, this bill is another example of the Guam Visitors Bureau promoting ideas that do nothing to address the real causes of tourism decline. GVB has repeatedly demonstrated that it lacks a coherent strategy to grow arrivals, yet it continues to siphon public funds into programs that produce no tangible results. Instead of demanding accountability from the agency responsible for tourism, this bill rewards the same cycle of spending without outcomes. The measure also raises serious ethical concerns. The businesses that stand to gain the most from these tax incentives are the same ones that will be expected to reward the bill's sponsor with campaign donations. The public pays the bill while private interests reap the benefits. This is not economic development. It is political patronage funded by taxpayers who are already struggling. Guam needs investment in public infrastructure, enforcement, safety, and basic services. It does not need another special interest bill that drains public revenue without delivering measurable returns. Beautification matters, but it cannot come at the expense of the public or be used as a cover for funneling tax dollars to those who already have the most. Bill 228 fails every test of fairness, accountability, and public benefit, and I respectfully urge the legislature to reject it. Such a well-written, well thought out letter that just encapsulates everything that's wrong with this entire look that we have at tourism, because it isn't just David Lebowski isn't just talking about this bill. He's talking about the larger policy and the general direction of the government of Guam and how things have been done how things are being done, and the worry that if things don't change, we're going to continue along this downward trajectory, and tourism's not going to improve. And one of the things that that I thought about as I was finishing reading the article for the first time was, what in the world happened to the island-wide beautification task force? I thought that that was something that the law had assigned to the lieutenant governor of Guam. And for as long as this administration has been in office, I don't think there's been an island-wide beautification task force. I don't think that there's been an island-wide beautification effort. There's been piecemeal stuff. There's been volunteer effort. And so, last week we did a call out for opinions for essentially like a Sunday forum, right? Asking about everyone's opinions regarding the Attorney General's deportation ramp-up initiative. This week, I think we're going to ask the question, we're going to ask for contributions, how can we beautify Guam? And whose responsibility is it? Because David Lebowski, he brings up a pretty darn good point. Gov Guam hasn't been doing it. When we come back from this short commercial break, I want to talk about another op-ed that was sent to us that also scrutinizes, just how the government operates. And it's a great op-ed by Dr. Vince Akimoto. So stick with us, and we'll be right back with that right after this short commercial break.
We delivered. Guam AutoSpot is extending our overstock sell-off with the hottest deals on island, like our 2025 GMC Canyon with $4,000 off, or slide into a brand new Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, starting at just $24,995. September is your chance to